What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pinhoti Mafia live stream. What's going on, everybody?
What's
Nothing
up?
much.
Man, it is so good to see all of you tonight, especially everyone that's joining us here on the live stream. It's just always a joy to see these shining faces because we don't get to do this very often. So it's actually a treat for us all to get together. So welcome to the live stream. We have a new member that we're going to get to very shortly, introduce everybody, but obviously the new guy first. But before we get into all that, I definitely want to say thank you to everyone that's been supporting this channel. We're about to hit 5,000 subscribers, over 1.3 million views on Metro on the News. So thank you so much for that support. I have not been making videos right now, so hopefully this will suffice. I will be making videos soon. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I have been a little delinquent in falling behind. So moving on to bigger things, I want to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, the latest, the newest edition, Chafeless down below. Stu, welcome to the Pinhoti Mafia, my friend.
I'm super glad to be here.
So for those that don't know about Stu, we actually met him on the last Alabama Triple Crown. And I want someone to tell that story of actually how he got to hike the Alabama Triple Crown, but in his own way. So to kind of kick that story off, Crow, can you tell us exactly how we ran into Stu at the Alabama Triple Crown?
We were at Turnip Seed, and I knew Stu was going to be out there, and I thought he was going to be out there with Poles of Destiny. But I think Poles of Destiny had something come up. He couldn't go. So anyway, we were at Turnip Seed, and I saw this guy camping out there, and I said, hey, what's up? And I think he thought I was like dissing him or something because I didn't realize who he was. We had talked on social media, but I didn't know. Anyway, so I went by, and then I was like, wait, I know this guy. So then I went back and said, hey, are you, and then we just started talking and realized, and then he started out hiking the opposite way on the Cheehaw, and then he just decided, the heck with it, I'm going with y'all. So he stayed with us, right?
That's right.
So yeah, so he did the Alabama Triple Crown his own way on the first day. So we hung out the night one, and the next day he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and he actually went the opposite way on day one, and we're like, whoa, that's awesome. But he was going so fast that he passed us faster than we expected to run into. I was like, did you see him? Nah, he probably quit. No way. And then next thing you know, we're coming up on Stu. We're like, oh my gosh, this guy is incredible. He's an incredible hiker. Let's invite him to join us, on the next day, because we had some extra room, right? So Stu, what a joy it's been to hike with you on the Alabama Triple Crown. But again, before we get to all that, Jabin Hikes is in the house. Also, Terry Young Outdoors, everybody. I know that, Terry, you had a recent encounter on Pinhoti Trail, and we'll kind of tie that into Chafeless and talk a little bit about how he kind of joined the crew after that. But what about your last adventure on the Pinhoti Trail? You were just out there with us gone feral with Squidly. How was that adventure?
Oh, it was great. We went out there the day after Christmas. We started at Flag Mountain, and we were intending on going to all the way to Heflin, but we had a few issues come up, time issues, and he had a little trouble with his heel, and I was having trouble with my right knee, which has kind of been ongoing for me. But we ended up going from Flag Mountain to Cheehaw, 80-ish miles.
No big deal, right? No big deal. On a bum knee too, right?
On a bum knee.
Did you see his shirt, everyone? Did you see his shirt? How awesome is that? It's an old school Thrasher shirt. I'm like so jealous. I was like, man, you got on. I was like, I love that. So you got your knee hurt from a previous skateboarding injury, and then
that's what it was. Old hockey injury. No, it's just something I've been dealing with for a while now, and I'm eventually probably going to have to go and get surgery on it. But I'm trying to avoid it. So I'm going to keep on for a little while.
Squidly was doing good though.
Squidly did great. He did great. That man, he's a true hiker.
Speaking of Squidly, though, he just hit 1,000 subscribers as well. So big shout out to Squidly, right? All right, making milestones. And for those that don't know who Gone Feral Squidly is, make sure you check out his channel. Awesome. He also did some videos just like Terry Young on their recent adventure on the Pinhoti Trail. Before we get more into the Pinhoti Trail stuff, though, I do want to talk about Jabin and what he's got coming up for 2024, because he's not going to be on the Alabama Triple Crown. So, Jabin, what's going on in your world? Because I heard you have a huge announcement to share.
Yeah, so coming in April, mid-April, we're gonna be doing van life for about 8 days out in southern Utah. So the wife and
Wow.
yeah. So we have our 15th year wedding anniversary, and she's been saving money without me knowing it. Been saving her money, and she's like, "Hey, I've got this," and I was like, okay. I was like, well, what do you want to do for the wedding anniversary trip? And she was like, I want to go to southern Utah. And I'm like, okay. I was like, do you want to drive and stay in a hotel? She's like, no. I want to do that van life thing where they get one of those real deal and just drive around and sleep in the van. And I'm like, that's my girl. She's kind of outdoorsy. So, right. So I do have secured us a 2024 Mercedes Revel. It's that Winnebago Revel.
Nice.
So I've got that secure. We're gonna fly into Vegas, and then we're gonna get on the road, and we're gonna go through all of southern Utah. We're gonna go to Kodachrome, Bryce. We're gonna spend 2 days in Bryce Canyon, and then we're gonna go down to Coral Pink Sands Dunes State Park. We're gonna spend a night there, and then we're going to go over to Zion, and we're going to spend 2 days in Zion. Then we're going back to Vegas. But I just found out right before this live event that we won the lottery to go hike Angel's Landing. So I'm so pumped.
Nice.
Man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So way they have to do it because it's so popular. They don't want just a ton of people out because people die there. Because you have to hold chains, everybody's chains, right? You got 2,000 feet down one way and 2,000 feet down the other way, and it's very narrow knife edge. So they do a lottery system. You have to know how to put your name in. So I figured that out, put my name in, and we got it. So that's coming soon. We're going to do a Angel's Landing hike, and then we're going to come home. But yeah, we're going to spend 8 days and 7 nights staying on BLM land, state parks, national parks, and everything. So we're going to be really good dirt bags.
Loving it. I've always wanted to go out there and do it. So congratulations. And that just sounds like a dream vacation. And obviously be surprised. Like, that's just really nice. Really nice.
If I do van life, it'll be in an 8440 Econoline van, probably.
So let's get into the meat of what we're here to talk about. Obviously, we wanted to introduce Stu, but Alabama Triple Crown is just a few weeks away. I know there's a lot of people that are probably tuning into this saying, hey, we want to talk about it, what's going on with it. But sir, I would like to, one, have Crow talk about it just in terms of a high-level overview, but then also talk about some specific challenges that you've had on trail during different types of weather, hearing your stories. I kind of want to have everybody kind of chime in with one of their favorite stories from some of the challenges on trail, because it is a force to be reckoned with. It's not like an easy challenge at all, but I don't want to talk too much about this. I want to go ahead and let Crow talk a little bit more about what his experience has been on the Alabama Triple Crown, but also talking about a high-level overview of what this actually is.
Yeah, so essentially you 3 days, 3 trails, 60 miles. We start in the east and we head west after the first trail is at Chiaha, and it's that loop, the Chin Pin Sky Loop. We spend Thursday night at Turnip Seed. We get up the next morning before sunrise and hike the loop. And as far as challenges, I know everybody here is really, kind of seen what you have. It's weather. I mean, in March, it could be 80 degrees. It could be 20 degrees. It could be rain. It could be sunshine. I mean, it could be any of that. So you simply got to just take it as it comes. And then, as some people said to me, it's not just the hiking, it's the driving. So after you get through hiking, you got to sit in the car, kind of stove up your legs and drive an hour and 30 minutes to the POC. Of course, we go to Pizza and Pints and get some pizza and carb up for the next day. And then we're not at the Pinhoti Outdoor Center for very long before we get up next morning. Boom, we're at Oak Mountain State Park. We do the 20 and change loop of the blue, yellow, green loop and the Lunker trail loop, the Lunker connector trail. And they have just added, since last year, they've added a loop around Lunker Lake, but we're not doing that. But you have that. And then we, after that night, we go get some barbecue, and then you head over to Sipsey. And depending on the weather, we either camp half mile in on 200, or a lot of people stayed in their car last time, because I think the first weekend it was 18 degrees that morning. And I mean, there's a lot of challenges, but a lot of it is you just don't stop. Like Thursday night when you get there, you don't stop. But we've added something this year, and anybody that is been a part of the Triple Crown is welcome. But Thursday we're going to meet, I think about 9 or 10 a.m. at the Cave Creek trail at the big gateway there on the Cheehaw parking lot below the park. And we're going to do that 9-mile loop that's Spring Trail over to the Pinhoti, out to McDill's Point, and then back to the parking lot. And I think that'll be cool to kind of reunite everybody from the last 2 years and get to know everybody. I think that's basically it.
Awesome. So last year specifically, I remember you telling me, but also seeing through the videos, that the experience was dramatically different. The first set was more in rainy weather, but the second set was like almost like heat, like it was intense heat. What are some things to keep in mind, like, just as someone's prepping for this, because we're all out here in the cold right now. Like, how do you get yourself prepped for something like this? Like, what are you doing to prep for the challenge? It's pretty intense.
I think so. I mean, it's no Appalachian Trail through hike, but it's usually done by people who do short challenges. So it's basically couch to trail 20 miles, day 1, day 2, day 3. So
yeah, exactly.
I think people need to be doing 10 to 12 mile days on the weekends leading up to this, and do 1 20-mile day before they come out there, just to show their body they can do it. And they can do it. I mean, we've seen people do it that have not trained and they still do it. Heck, I think the first year I didn't train and I still did it. I didn't feel good, but you can do it. It's just that you'll feel better if you train and get some miles on your legs.
100%.
I guess.
Yeah, and that's dead on. And this year I'm actually not doing the Alabama Triple Crown, and there's a reason for that. Last year, just to give people perspective, I go out and I do miles all the time. I just did a foothills trail through hike, 76 miles, but that was over a course of a few more days, and I was kind of on one trail. On the last day, I had difficulty on the last 5 miles just trying to get out of there, and you can't stop. I mean, you could. I guess you could camp one more night, but I didn't have any equipment, so it's like you have to make it. And that last day it's pretty intense. So it's like I want to make sure that for people that are attempting this, it is challenging and it is couch to trail. And for people that go out casually, it can impact you. Now, I will say that another good point of advice: I took Advil with me on the foothills trail, and I was taking it every 4 hours, like on the dot. Before I got on trail, 4 hours into it, and I had no problem. So I don't normally take any type of medication, but on the last one, I needed everything from like heat pads, like creams, like I was like hurting bad. And so I just wanted to put that out there as for those that are attempting this. It is challenging. So definitely train, or you will probably be in pain. You're probably going to be in pain anyway. What about you guys? Did you have any experiences that might have been, I should have trained harder? What are some advice that you would give to someone that's about to attempt the Alabama Triple Crown?
Well, I'll go first. Honestly, I didn't train much last year. I got really busy before it. I intended on doing a lot of long hikes, but my weekends just got filled up and I wasn't able to train. So I would say And I didn't have that hard of a time with it, but I also had been doing some running, so I was in decent shape. But do try to get a couple of long hikes in, like Crow said, because it'll pay off in the long run. Be prepared for all types of weather, because like I said, or like Andy said, when we started on the first day, it was pouring rain, and I think it's poured rain the last 2 years on the first day.
It's big rain, yeah.
Yeah, big
So
time rain.
Yeah, so Stu, for you, like, since you're the new guy on the block, like, give us your thoughts, like, because you know, obviously you're a younger guy, right? We're not gonna say how young, but you're a younger guy, and you get out there and you can do some miles. How did you feel after this? I mean, this is maybe not something I don't want to hear, but how did you feel after you got done completing the Alabama Triple Crown?
I was definitely tired, and I had definitely a few little issues. I had some blisters, and last year I was having some IT band, problems kind of throughout the year, but it didn't really seem to bother me. But when you were saying earlier, the last 5 miles, it was the last 5 miles that kind of got me to just like the bewitching hour. And I just felt like it was just dragging on forever. And everything that was, kind of bugging me was really bugging me at, the last 5 miles. And when we got done, I was sure glad to be done. And I woke up real sore on Monday, but after Monday, I was fine.
So the night before we got on the Sipsey, right? It was so cold outside. It was in the 20s, maybe even the teens. It was freezing, right? We slept in our cars. Now that may not have been the best idea either. So we're all cramped up. I slept in a Civic. So I sat there with my legs fully extended, like underneath the pedals, fully reclined. And another thing that was kind of funny was I didn't break out my camping gear. I just I'll just have a blanket. So I took a spring blanket with me, and I had it. It was like meant for like 45 degrees, and it was definitely in the teens. So I was just like, oh, the whole night. So would you recommend, even if it's that cold, to do camp? Or would you say, no, you probably stay in your car? Because you have to get up so early. What would you recommend for those if it is cold? Should they stay in the car, or should they break camp? What would you recommend?
I think you should camp. You've got like a quarter mile in there. You can camp. You'll stay warm. I was actually parked right next to you, Metro, and I could lean up a little bit off my pad, and I could see you in there in that front seat, just looking miserable. I thought to myself several times, he's going to have a hard time in the morning. He does not look like he's having fun right now.
It was the worst. It was the worst night ever. And then my knees locked up. I looked like I literally looked like I was drunk, like trying to get out of the trail because my knees weren't working. I couldn't put weight. So I had my little trekking poles. I was like, just trying to go down the hills. I was like sliding down. Actually, you guys were just out there training though, right? And it was stupid cold too. But this time the water was really up. What happened on the last, guys were just out in the Sipsey, right?
Yeah.
And did you have to get wet or in the water? What happened there?
We definitely got wet. We woke up. We tried to wake up early to get out of there before all the ice and everything had gotten bad, and we were a little worried, because it kind of iced on and off all night. And we didn't really know how that was going to affect the level of the Borden Creek, and the confluence into the Sipsey. So, or the Black Warrior, we were worried about what the levels were going to be. But when we got there, we saw that we could, see 2 or 3 rungs. So we knew that it was only going to come up to maybe, waist.
Mm-hmm.
But we went down to our skimmies and we crossed across the creek. And once you got out to the middle, it was fine. But when we first got in, it was waist deep and it was cold. It was about 22, 23 degrees.
Pro exposed his skinny butt, huh?
Oh, he was
in his glory.
Let me just say that, like, Stu kind of acclimated me to like the concept of the air is colder than the water, and I didn't really recognize that until I got in. I was like, it is warmer in this water than the air, but still the water was like what 45, 50 degrees. So
the water's still cold.
It still just took your breath away initially, and then you just immediately want to get to the other side so you can get your clothes back on and get out of there.
So
when
for those
feet goes numb too, and everything that you step on is like, stepping on glass.
Oh, ooh. So for those doing the Alabama, it is optional. You don't have to do that, but that is hilarious to think it was that cold out. You guys are really getting to know each other out there. But anyway, so
We're real close.
So there are moments that you are going to get wet, depending on how wet you want to get. Though that's up to you. But there are plenty of river crossings or shouldn't say river, creek crossings, day one, right? So for those getting on the Pin Sky Loop, what would you recommend in terms of I don't know, like, are they going to be able to stay dry? I remember we were stuck in the rain 2 days in a row, but crossing that, your feet are definitely going to get wet. Blisters are going to happen. What do you guys recommend for those type of situations that you're going to get wet for miles on end like that?
I'll tell you what I used, and this was on Crow's recommendation, was the sealskin socks.
So no problem, no blisters at all, right?
No, none at all. I am a true believer in those sealskin socks. I really am.
Yeah.
Jabin, what about you?
I didn't use the sealskins, but when I do it again, I'm going to use the sealskins because it's always wet, and there's no water that egresses into your shoe. It's a weird sensation, but yeah, sealskins are a way to go on that.
Crow, what are your thoughts? Do you have just a go for it? Because I've seen your videos. Obviously, just go for it. But for those that may not be thinking about the miles ahead, what would you recommend for those that are attempting the Alabama Triple Crown?
Well, you got to prepare for all the weather. I mean, that first weekend last year I think it was 18 degrees at the Sipsy that morning. I think I remember looking at my little thermometer. And then the next weekend, it was like 68 the next weekend. It was just crazy. But you got to prepare for at least one day being a deluge. And, like craziness, like the first weekend, the trail was great. And then the second weekend on the first night, we had tornado and straight line winds. And when we got around to the Thompson Creek area, it was like an obstacle course out of American Ninja Warrior because the trail was covered in trees and it's never really recovered. You still got a lot of trees in that area that had come down. But as far as wet, I mean, J-Ben introduced me to the sealskins. Well, he and I both went to Smokies one year and did that Boogerman loop, and we both wore sealskins. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. So that might be a good option,
So from my perspective, you have actually taught me this is the Injinji socks. Like if you don't have access to the sealskins, get Injinjis. I know everyone's like, oh, my Darn Toughs are going to be great. I'm going to tell you like this. I used Darn Tough on the last Alabama Triple Crown, and I had blisters all on the inside of every single toe because my feet stayed wet the entire time because it was just downpour. And then I guess the next couple of days, it just was waterlogged. So my feet were just kind of blister heaven. Like my feet were horrible looking. My wife won't even look at them now. She's like, what happened there? What happened?
Those sealskins, a lot of people have concerns that my feet won't be able to breathe in them, but that's just not the case. Your feet can absolutely breathe in them. I mean, Crow and I on that Boogerman loop, I think we did 8 miles in them, and my feet were dry as a bone, and even going through all the streams and everything. So they're worth the money to have, and in the wintertime, I've definitely used them. So,
Crow, did you see Debbie's comment on there about eating dinner the night before?
Yeah, I guess she's good with sharing that. But 2 people got food poisoning the day before we started the Alabama Triple Crown, and we had to have a emergency exit strategy on the second week, which. That's the thing about the Alabama Triple Crown is I had a lot of help from all the guys here in the Pinhoti Mafia. But that first year it was just us. There was nobody there. This year we got people coming out of the woodworks. It's going to do trail magic and they're going to help. And, you got people like Melanie, that's a paramedic and a trauma expert. So, this year, I feel a little bit better about it, but last year I got real nervous when we had to send 2 people down a dirt road. But luckily, Ronnie was with us, and Ronnie knew somebody that lived there, and he met him and picked him up and took him out. But yeah, that was really nerve wracking when, because I mean, you're out there. I mean, there's nothing really to do. You're so far away from the road. At times you're at least 8 miles anytime from a road. So,
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than hiking when you're sick.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a reason why that's called this is called a challenge, because it is challenging.
So speaking of the challenge and places that will help you out, I don't know if you guys have been to the Pinhoti Outdoor Center, those that are watching this, but it is a hostel. Kim and Nathan Wright run the hostel. You can get more information on their Facebook page, facebook.com, Pinhoti Outdoor Center. They also have an upcoming Pinhoti Fest. So for those that can't make the Alabama Triple Crown or are still following for maybe the next year and things of that nature, there's more information coming up soon on their website on pinhotiexperience.org. In short, Pinhoti Fest, the third one, is coming up in September. So we're excited about that. Again, for those that didn't go last year, there's lots of vendors, music, food, things of that nature, and also Tent City. Most of us were there. I think everyone here on today's episode was, except Crow had to leave a little early, but everyone was there at the last event. And we really like to see you guys there. So I'm planning to be there this year. Even though I can't make the Alabama Triple Crown, I am planning to join you guys maybe one night. I'm not sure if it's going to be the Sipsy or if it's going to be a Cheehaw, but I'm definitely trying to get it out there. I've just been having some, work stuff going on. I'm sure we all can relate to that.
Yeah. I love the Pinhoti Trail Fest. I mean, it's almost that time of year when it's so hot and it's unbearable to be outside and you're itching to go do something that's backpacking, hiking, camping related. And this is it. Like you said, there's tons of vendors. And last year, with going from year 1 to year 2, we doubled in size as far as the vendors go. And they're expecting to almost triple in size this next year. Even last year at the end of it, they had people sign up, hey, we're coming back. And then we had other people that were saying, hey, we're going to do this next year. We can't do it this year, but we're absolutely going to do it next year. So it keeps growing. And Nathan and Kim, and they're doing a great job with this. And I'm already looking forward to Pinhoti Fest in September.
I know,
Ben,
right?
Ben McMillan asked when the date was, but we want to see Hilltop Packs there.
Absolutely. Yep.
And, if you want, if you can't make it, maybe we can have like a little side booth. Like we could be virtual assistants for you, Ben. Like we can actually have you at the booth and man it for you because we know stuff about your products. We might be able to pitch it for you.
You know what? You have like one of those cardboard stand-ups of Ben. And he's got some coffee and he's got some Hilltop Pack, and a real Hilltop Pack in his hand. That'd be awesome.
Point to it. Yeah. It's like, hey, this is where you go. Or we could be doing online orders, directing them to your site. I think that's actually something I might actually do for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Here it is though. We got to find a better rep. I mean, have you seen Stu? I mean, Stu's a stud, man. I mean, come on, look at this.
He's got the flowing mane.
Yeah, look at that. Come on now. Come on. So, we were actually repped a couple brands there last year. A big shout out to Get Out Gear. Thank you for sending us some blankets to give out at the event. For those that don't know who Get Out Gear is, they make the trekking pole chair as well as these really awesome trekking poles. They're like goat sticks, but also they have a variety of down and synthetic products at Get Out Gear. They are light blankets that are perfect for the fall and the spring or if you want to layer up. So make sure you check them out. Other vendors as well. Short Hammock. I was hoping to see them at Pinhoti Fest. Have you guys heard from them? What's going on with Short Hammock?
Heard from them. I know the AT kickoff, which they've rebranded, is coming up. And
oh yeah.
We'll
are you planning to go to that, by the way? Are you going to go to the, is it called Gateways now? AT Gateways, I think is what it's called.
AT Gateway. If I may, it's going to be kind of tight. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get over there, but you never know. I may sneak off over there. So, guys,
that'd be fun. It'd be fun to see. So for those that don't know about AT Kickoff, the first weekend of March, they host like another event at the lodge at Amicalola Falls Lodge, and it's great because you can actually see some lightweight vendors that you normally wouldn't see. I'm not going to drop names because They don't pay us enough.
That's right.
I'm just kidding. There's a lot of great vendors there, like Short Hammock and people like that we've met in the past, and great discounts and things of that nature. You can pick it up right there. But also lots of hikers doing speeches on their experiences on the AT. We've met all kinds of great hikers there at the event. So not to mention all those that are starting their venture. A lot of people start their trek the first week of March as the AT kickoff, or now AT gateways. They go through Amicalola Falls, up the waterfall, and then on the approach trail up to Springer Mountain. So it's something to see. So if you guys are interested, we'd love to see you there. I'm going to be there. I know Senior Hiker 77 said he'll be there, but he likes to get in and out. Maybe J-Ben hikes. Is any of the rest of you guys planning to go to the AT kickoff? Maybe.
What's the date? March something? What is it?
Let me look it up. I'll try and pull it up while we continue this conversation. But
I may try to go. I thought about going and doing the approach trail up to Springer and then back down.
are you guys going to do any AT hikes this year? That's a good pivot because we were just talking about, Pinhoti Trail, which connects to there's a connected trail too. Yeah. So are you guys planning to hike the Appalachian Trail, any sections this year? I know, Jabin, you've been out there hiking in the Smokies. Is there any AT sections you're going to be doing?
I was going to potentially go do Shenandoah. No, Leonidas and his wife, they're doing Shenandoah. They're going to do the whole thing this summer in July. But there's probably a little trip to Colorado that's coming up to go hiking. So that may take that place.
Well, if you guys want some information on the Appalachian Trail kickoff, I actually have a website. If you guys haven't gone and checked it out, it'd be nice if you did. It's called hikersofamerica.com, but you'll see information around the event itself. There's a few years. There are some guest stars that will be seen in these videos. I think J-Ben's in one of these as well. Leonidas, who's not on today's live stream. What happened to Leonidas? Where is he at? Is he just on the trail again, or he's always out there?
I thought he was going to be on this tonight, but I guess something came up.
That guy is elusive. He's that quick, right?
Yeah.
So let me give you a little secret about Leonidas, right? This guy, he's been an inspiration to all of us. Now he goes out and he does miles, and he wants to push it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leonidas is the perfect person to take if you don't have a shuttle driver. And let me explain why. Because you guys will go to the trailhead at the same time, but by the time you get to the end, he's already been to the end, back, picked up the car, drove all the way around and picked you up. So if you're looking for someone that can be a shuttle driver and hike with you, Leonidas on the trail, that is your man.
Yeah. The most recent Pinhoti hike that he did, what did he do in a single day? It was like 55 miles in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was some of the toughest parts of it. So that's the most rugged. That's going to put Terry Young in the hospital probably.
Oh my God. One day, right? One day.
Yeah, one day. It was amazing.
So he actually goes through a pair of shoes every week, right? I mean, literally, like if you see like skid marks like on the trails or like on the roads, it's actually from his sneakers just lighting them on fire, like him taking off some guys. So speaking of types of hikers, right? Leonidas is what I would categorize as a monster, and J-Ben falls into that monster category. I'll tell you a funny story though, because I was watching one of his videos on J-Ben's channel, and he went out on a double date, right? And during the video, right, he's and J-Ben, I was like, oh, this is nice, going out, on double date, whatever. And he's got this big dude, and he's wearing a backpack all wrong. And I'm all like, oh, and he's complaining or something that's not going right, and he's like saying something along the lines of, we carry backpacks like a girl, like referencing to J-Ben and us, like we have these sissy packs or something like that,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So he had all kinds of things hanging off of it, like a prospector or something. But he had like a backpack on a backpack, and everything. So I asked him, I was like, why does your backpack look like crap? And what I was doing, I was poking at it for a reason, and I'll tell you what the reason is. But as he was adjusting his pack, and you need to go watch the video, it's funny. But this big beast of a man, all bulging everywhere. He's like, I wear my pack like a man, not like you girly hikers. And so I was like, all right. but the funny thing is the guy's a Navy SEAL.
No,
And
so I leave a comment on Javen's channel. I was like, oh yeah, well maybe you need to go on a real hike with Javen and me. You know, we'll show you what girly men do or whatever. We're a little, you can call us that.
yeah.
And then Javen texts me later and he goes, dude, why did you leave that comment? I was like, well, you know, teach him a lesson. You know, if he wants to go hike, we'll show him how to hike. He's like, that guy's like a Navy SEAL. I was like, I don't want to hike with that guy ever. No, I don't. No, I was just kidding. I want to go home right now. I don't even want to go. I don't even want to think about this. I cancel. I don't want to be on this trip because if Javen's a monster and this guy's like a SEAL and he's like just playing with him, he would kill us. Like, he would just like pick both of us. I'm like, who's the girly man now? Who's the girly man now?
I asked him, I was like, just let me know when I need to carry you and your wife and my wife at the same time. So, and
Dang.
he wasn't just a SEAL, he was a Navy SEAL sniper. So he had all kinds of big caliber weapons and all types of rounds and everything. So, and doing high altitude jumps with, 200 pounds worth of gear on him. So, yeah, but yeah, he's my buddy. He's a good guy though.
So we could do like glamping. Like that's cool if we hang out with that guy. I just don't want to be like, let's go on a hike. He's like, all right, 75 miles, let's go. I was like, no, I was playing. I just want to just hang out. I got my lawn chair here, and I got my cooler and stuff. But speaking of what's in my cooler, I'm not really repping this brand, but I love this product. It's called Busy. And this is what I've been drinking. If you guys are curious, it's got 275 milligrams of caffeine and 8 ounces. This cold brew, you can get it at Publix, dude. Just one glass like this, and you see visions. Like, whoa! But that's the same feeling that you get with Starbucks. They actually have 300 milligrams of caffeine in their coffee as well. So it's no wonder everyone's like, oh, I gotta go get my Starbucks because they get used to drinking it. That kind of caliber, and like I gotta have it. It's like, oh god, what happened to you? Used to be so.
And you remember when we were on the North Georgia part of the AT, and you had that little shot thing. It's like this little shot thing. I mean, you're supposed to put it in like a 20-ounce glass or something, and you just
water, like
you just chugged it. I was like, gosh, that's so nasty.
And that could have gone really bad because I don't know if you guys drink coffee or not, but I do, and it's just like that's it can either work out really great or really bad, especially on trail. You gotta be careful with concentrated coffee, that's for sure.
Well, let me throw that in there since we're talking about coffee. Squid has got these things now, and they're like you know how the dip you put it in your lower lip.
Oh yeah, what are they called?
Yeah, they're like little pods of caffeine, and he puts them down there, and I'm like, dude, I'll just make some coffee.
I gave those to him. Yeah, I gave those to him.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he
offered. What are they called?
They're called. Anyway, they were made by a guy that was a former Major League Baseball player, and he was trying to get off of dip, so he made these little, like Copenhagen pouches that just have caffeine and B12 in them, and so they were designed to kind of help people get off of dip in the major leagues.
Grind.
And grinds. Here
it is. Backpack Burls. He came same time. Jinx, guys.
They're really good. I mean, they have them in caramel, cinnamon roll. I mean, like mocha. They're really good.
But I told Squid it's something about actually physically drinking a cup of coffee that makes me feel better. So
that's right.
Well, speaking of, actually, no, it is that time. I'm getting older. I just had a birthday. Yesterday. Actually, it was my birthday.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting old. I'm closer to 50 now than I am my 40s.
Oh, you're old. Wow. 50's way in the rearview mirror on me.
I mean, it's weird to say this. Like, I'm 45 years old. Jeez, what happened? What?
7 days.
We were
That sounds
actually
like prepping for a colonoscopy.
right. We were actually I was playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out the other day, and I was actually sharing some pictures of me that messing around. I'm like, oh, I'm playing Nintendo. I'm 45, whatever. And I put up this little scene of like it was an intermission after you like beat a couple of the guys. It's really bad RGB characters are going through like I'm going through the city, I'm prepping, and then Stu's like, I have no idea what that is. That is way before my time. And I was like, oh yeah, that whole thing about being old, 45. Wow. But yeah, happy birthday. It was yesterday.
Yeah, Stu thinks about PlayStation. PlayStation was new when he was young.
Well, what game was the game for Stu? What was the first video game you ever played?
Well, like I'm the youngest of three, so my older brother and sister had the Super Nintendo,
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
Nintendo 64. So it was a kind of a cross between that. Me and my brother would play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then we did the Mario
World
Super
or
Mario
whatever
on the
world,
64.
right? Yeah, with Yoshi. Oh, you had 64. See, I had the Super Nintendo. That 64 was. Oh no, I had GoldenEye. That was the game, right? Back in the day.
I remember GoldenEye too.
Oh my gosh! And then everybody started playing Halo. What system was that? That was Xbox.
Halo was the Xbox or the Xbox 360.
And that's when I got out of video games. Was right around the Halo.
I played Pong.
That's what I was about to say. The little paddles on each side, and you keep the ball going between. That's
what was the name of that? It was that ColecoVision. Did you guys have that?
Well,
that was like...
my parents they wouldn't get me the Atari, the first Atari, so they got me Odyssey 2. That was the system. I don't know what it was. It had like 8 games to it. It really sucked.
Just 8 games, no more than 8 games either. That's it. You just get 8 games, right?
Yeah, it was like the Costco version of Atari, I guess.
I love it.
I still have an Atari 2600 console that takes the front loading cartridge.
Pin the tail on the Brontosaurus. That's fun.
What's Squid doing? Just hanging out.
I know, right? He was.
It's called trolling. It's trolling. That's what he's doing. He's trolling.
He's supposed to be on this. So he said, "Yeah." And Leonidas is just laughing at us. He's just like, "Yo, dude, I just got done like hiking around. I just did the whole Pinhoti Trail while you guys were on this ride." Oh, yeah. Then I got a Hunt's Pizza on the way home. You gotta get it while you're out there. It's good stuff. So I guess we've been rapping now for about what is this? I don't even know what the time.
42 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Do you guys have any other tips and tricks that you'd recommend with the Alabama Triple Crown? Because I know we've glanced over it. Yes, you got to be prepared, train, do that, have the right footwear. Snacks. What snacks would you bring? I mean, that's another big thing because you're out there. You're not going to be able to go back to the car. You're going to be out there for a while. What snacks would you recommend for a 20-mile hike?
Well, Leonidas and J-Ben have gotten me hooked on the electrolyte stuff. What is that stuff called? Tailwind.
Yep.
So you definitely got whatever electrolyte works for you. Now, some people, Tailwind does not work for. Like some people get stomach issues with Tailwind. I have not, but a lot of people last year in the second group that were trail runners, they said they couldn't take it because of the sugar and stuff that just messed with their stomach. But you got it. Whatever electrolyte works for you, was the liquid IV or whatever works for you. You got to have electrolytes. But I just say quick carbs through the day. But hey, Squid's got a video on how he prepared. He talked about snacks, whatever, but just the preparation that you should do is like I took these tubs, like the tubs here behind me. I took 2 of those, one for my day hike stuff for the days, and then one for my gear for camping. And I kind of kept it all organized in the back of my truck because your truck or your vehicle becomes your little home for the 3 days, you know?
Hobo camp. A little hobo camp.
Yeah.
Crow,
So-
do you remember what I did on the first day? I got a
Almond butter.
10 by 10 pop-up tent, and I actually cooked breakfast on the back of my truck.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
a whole spread
I had a
there.
grill and everything.
Stu, what'd you have there? You had some almond butter. What else? What else do you take with
the
you?
almond butter. I like the almond butters, and then just like a bag of like peanuts or some type of almonds or some type of nut just to kind of snack on through the day. Also do like gummy bears, just like some quick candies, just for some quick sugars.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know.
I think the main thing of doing like big miles like that in a day is just to kind of maintain, moving and eating while you're moving. You don't really need to stop and take a big break as long as you keep eating and keep moving. You can kind of slow the pace down a little bit and just keep going. Or Metro, you can just keep it moving and eat quick stuff as you're moving along.
Yeah, I know for me, I like to get natural honey. You can get those little packets from Chick-fil-A. You can put them in little side pockets. So if you need a little sugar boost, you can pop one of those or some of that as right before a big climb. So your body can process it really well, or at least my body can. Some people it may not work. It may, like, I don't know, probably squid couldn't do it. If you're got health, situation. But yeah, I like that. I like some dried fruits like that too. Yeah, something you kind of chew on. Maybe like some dried apple rings or even cranberries. I like cranberries. I like the tartness when I'm on the trail, as opposed to putting in like some type of processed sugar, stuff like that.
See,
I don't know.
I mean, the best bar that you can take that's like, I don't know, it's like 60 grams of protein is the Lucky Charms bars. I think it's like maybe it's 50 grams of protein in it, but it's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Oreo cakesters.
Yeah,
Oreo cakesters.
I like those Quest cookies that are they're kind of like a meal replacement. Squid could have those. They're low in carbs, and I think they only have like 1 or 2 sugars.
Yeah, the glycemic index down. So yeah, I know with my Tailwind, I invented a cocktail called TNT. It's called Tailwind in Tylenol.
Yeah.
It works really nice.
Okay.
TNT. TNT. Well, I tell you, I ate like crap like on trail, and it's the worst. I don't know what it is, but it's like always let's just grab like spam and like chops, meat sticks, and all kinds of stuff like that. But I do take Tailwind. I like it because it's got the caffeine in there. But here's a funny story, right? So in the last through hike on the Pine Mountain Trail, I'm on the top of Dowdell's Knob, and I'm all like, yeah, shout out to Leonidas on the trail for telling me about Tailwind. I love this stuff. It's like a raspberry with caffeine. I actually had that out the last Alabama Triple Crown. I was consuming that all kinds of ways on trail, but I'm not going to go into too much details. I don't want to. Anyway, the point is I was consuming a heavy amount of Tailwind. Anyway, I want to talk about Dowdell's Knob, and I'm talking about this product. I'm like, oh, Leonidas. I'm sitting there drinking it. I reach out to Tailwind. I'm like, hey, here's a clip from my latest video of me talking about your product. They're all like, thanks. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, do you want to send me some samples maybe? Because it's pretty expensive stuff. And they're like, no response. I'm like, whoa, wow. That's harsh. But they like Leonidas. So again, Leonidas is a true champ out there. So obviously he's getting Tailwind. But Metro on the move. Go kick rocks, buddy. No,
Yeah.
nothing.
They're strict on it. It's people like him that they will they'll give those codes to and send samples out to hand out. So
I get the code and he rejects it. Like, no, not Metro. No, I don't care if it talks about it on it, but no discounts, no samples. It's like, guys, I know Leonidas. I'm talking about him. No discounts. Jeez. Terry, what were you saying, man?
I was going to say, speaking of foods, on the ATC, there's no need to bring dinners because on Friday night, everybody usually just gets something, brings it to camp and eats. And then Thursday night. Thursday night. And then Friday night, you go to the barbecue place. No, that's Saturday night, isn't it?
Yeah, you go to Pizza and Pints on Friday.
Pizza and Pints Friday night. And then last year we went to Golden Rule Barbecue.
Full Moon.
Full Moon. I'm getting them all wrong. It was barbecue anyway, but it was great. So yeah, all your dinners, you're gonna eat great.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're gonna bring up pizza and pints, I gotta tell this story because it's the funniest story. I said it on the last live stream. I'm gonna say it again for those that missed it. Right? We're at Pinhoti Fest, right? And I'm all like, guys, I'm hungry, you know. And Pizza and Pints is down the street. I didn't know how far it was, but I've been camping in Tent City for a couple of days. My whole like, where's everything at? I didn't know, and I was wearing like Birkenstocks, right? So I'm like walking around. I was like, you know what, I want to go to dinner? Like, no, I'm good. And Terry's like, yeah, I'm fine. So it was senior hiker, atypical hiker, and myself. We start taking off, and we get all the way to Pizza and Bites, and it's a good distance from the park, Noble Park. It's like about a mile and a half. I'm kind of like, wow. We get there, we sit down, and Terry Young calls me. He's like, I want a pizza now. And I was like, oh, you do? He's like, yeah, I want a pizza. I was like, I bet you do. And then I had to walk him back a Hawaiian pizza.
Hawaiian pizza.
And then I get there and he's all like, so do you like Venmo or anything? I was like, no, Venmo. I was like, cash money. And he's like, how much was it? He's like, well, I got like $12. Is that good? I was like, yeah, it was $20. He was like, nah, man, here's 16. I was like, how'd you get the other 4? He's like, gotcha.
I think I had to borrow money from Squid.
So I'm carrying the pizza across town. I was like literally the first Pinhoti Fest Uber Eats, but I wasn't even Uber Eats for Terry Young. So there you go, breaking in the festival.
But in my defense, I thought you guys drove to eat. I didn't know you walked. So
man, I can't believe it, man.
And so that pizza was so good too.
So you guys, anything else going on that you want to share before the Alabama Triple Crown? I know the dates are coming up quickly. Anything else you want to share with anyone who's tuning in to watch this live stream? Any other tips and tricks? Any things to be thinking about before the upcoming Alabama Triple Crown?
Yeah, I think that everybody that's training for it, you really do need to think about, you're doing 20 miles 3 days in a row. If you're not backpacking often, or if you're not hiking often, doing 20 miles 3 days in a row is no joke. And it's a little bit easier because you don't have a, backpack like for a weekend backpacking trip on. But it's a whole nother ball game when you have to not only hike it, you have to get back to your car and then drive to the next destination, sleep, wake up, do 20 more miles, and then you got to do it all over again one more time.
Yeah.
So I think people need to take into account how much, because that's something that I really underestimated, was the driving part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's one thing to get somewhere and camp for the night and then, wake up and you can drag out of camp in the morning and hike into the night if you have to. But when you've got to hike to a spot, get in the car, go an hour, or like when you're in Birmingham and going up to the Sipsey, it's a 2-hour drive, maybe even 2.5-hour drive.
That's an excellent point. That is actually something to consider. So for everyone doing the Alabama Triple Crown, you will be going there in the dark. I don't think anyone's going to get there before the sun goes down. So be planning on doing a little bit of a night hike, right? It's not that much of a hike in. It's only about maybe a quarter mile, maybe a third of a mile. Nothing crazy. There are some little boulders you have to climb up. No big deal though, right? The point is that you probably want to get familiar, at least if you're not done this before, in terms of just like night camping, night hiking, getting used to that. This is a short distance, but be prepared to do it in the cold and at dark. There's no light. The Sipsey, it is a blackout. Like you'll have your headlamps and stuff, but get familiar with that process. And also, I would also recommend to get used to the day packs, loading it up with your snacks, because there is no jumping off. Again, you are going to have to finish the miles. So that's the bottom line there. So once you're into it, you're going to have to be prepared in terms of carrying that weight for that duration. Also get prepared, even though there is water, throughout the entire park for the most part, you're going to have access to it. I would get familiar with just being loaded up with 2 liters anyway to start out with. And then, as you break it down, but I would carry the water weight just to kind of get yourself prepared doing that kind of mileage, carrying that kind of weight, because you're not carrying your full pack. But again, for me, any mile over 15 miles is a big mile for me. So it did help me to get used to having that kind of weight on your back, because at least 10 pounds at least is because you got your rain gear, you've got all this water, and you've got your snacks and things of that nature. That's a good weight to get used to. So get used to carrying that before you go and attempt to do the Alabama Triple Crown, because you will be carrying a pack with you.
Yeah, that training also prepares your feet also for the hike. Because I mean, we all know that if your feet aren't happy, you're not going to be happy. So that's another reason why it's good to prepare and get out and do some good fast day hikes as you prepare, and maybe try to ramp up to that point and then cycle off, start dropping your mileage as you get closer to it so your body can recover, but have that almost like that marathon training mindset of ramping up and then dropping down and getting into the Triple Crown.
And don't come out there with brand new shoes. Like, don't buy some shoes and then just say, oh, like, make sure you've worn your shoes from several hikes before you come out there.
Speaking of shoes, what shoes are you guys wearing? Just because there's been some debate on what shoes to be wearing right now. Terry Young, kick it off. What kind of shoes are you wearing? And then go to J Ben, Crow, and then Stu, and I'll close out.
I'm still in the Lone Peak 6s by Ultra. I love that shoe. That's my go-to shoe. The wide toe box.
Yeah.
J Ben?
Yeah, I'm still in the Ultra Olympus, and I don't see myself going anywhere, even though I am testing out some New Balance fresh foams, that kind of high stack, but I'm not going to be hiking in them. So Olympus
5, right?
Whatever the most recent one is. Yeah. So on my second pair of those.
Crow, you upgraded recently. What'd you pick up?
Well, I haven't hiked in them long miles, so but those Cascadia 16s, but I'm a little concerned about the toe box. So I mean, when I switched over to the Long Peak 6s and then they got the 7s, they come out with the 8s now. They have an 8, Long Peak 8, but I have the 7 and I really like it.
So you're back to Lone Peak.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Stu, what are you in?
I'm in the Olympus 5s. I changed from the Superiors to those. I loved the Superiors before just because of the just real bare feel. You can run in them. But I went to the Olympus 5s because I was starting to have some knee problems, so I wanted a little bit more of a stack. And I don't see myself really going anywhere else. But I really like them.
Yeah,
Great shoe.
At the end
I'm
of
on
the
the
day,
Olympus 5 as well. So if you guys are thinking about footwear, you got 2 people on Lone Peak and you got 3 on the Olympus 5s. I'm just saying you might want to consider one of these shoes because they do it for us. Maybe they'll do it for you, but there's a consensus.
And if Squid was here, he would say Speed Goats, the Hoka Speed Goats. That's his Squid Goats.
But he's trolling. He's not here. So we're doing the 3-2 here on this.
Hadn't Squid tried every shoe there's ever been made?
I think he has.
I think actually he has. He definitely has.
Oh, and I'll bring up one more point about the footwear on the ATC is I actually brought 2, maybe even 3 pairs of shoes with me. And the first day, mine got so wet that I put a dry pair on the next morning.
Good point.
So if you got a few pairs of shoes that you like, bring along.
Excellent point. Excellent. Yeah.
cannot hide money, TYO.
Anybody need a sticker out there?
Oh yeah. Speaking of, we have an announcement for those that are watching today's live stream. For those that do not know, Terry Young has stickers and he loves to give them out. So for this episode in this live stream, if you're watching this, for those that continue to watch this even a month from now, you can reach out to Terry Young and he will still give you a sticker. So this video has shelf life. It's not just those on today's live stream. If you want a sticker, reach out to Terry Young Outdoors. He will send you a sticker, maybe even 2 stickers. And for those watching even a month out, reach out to Terry Young Outdoors. He will also send you a sticker. Right. Is that right, Terry Young? Can you confirm that?
I hope Sticker Mule runs one of those specials coming up pretty soon.
Well, let's just end with this. Terry Young is getting closer and closer to his milestone. He's trying to hit 1K. Shout out to J Ben for hitting 1K recently as well, right? Big milestone there. Squidly just hit 1K. Big shout out there. So let's help Terry Young. Make sure you go check out his channel. He's Terry Young Outdoors. He has lots of hikes throughout the Southeast and beyond. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check out Terry Young Outdoors. Stu is still new in the mix on creating videos. We don't know if he's going to open up that chapter or not, but congratulations, my friend. Welcome to the Pinhoti Mafia. We are glad to have you. It is an elusive group, and we look forward to hiking with you and obviously learning more about where you're from as well, and potentially doing some bigger hikes in the near future. I know that you want to come out and hit the Pine Mountain Trail up and maybe some AT sections, so I'm definitely looking forward to you come out to Georgia. And also all the cameos that are going to start appearing with. I believe you're going to be in Crow's video, right? Did you guys do any filming last weekend?
Yeah.
You're going to see Stu in action.
Too much filming. He was probably like, "Oh God, get me out of here!" Crow just films every second.
I tried to tell him, my buddy Poles of Destiny. I'm sure he's in this watching this video.
Yes.
I go hiking with him. We've hiked together the last year. Just about every month or every other month, and he's constantly filming too. So I'm all about it. I love to do it and love to be a part of it.
Yeah, shout out to Poles of Destiny too. You guys go check out his channel. It's a great channel. Poles of Destiny Hiking.
Yeah, there you go. Poles of Destiny Hiking. He is a newer YouTuber out there. Again, hiking with Stu. So if you want to see their adventures out on trail, make sure you check out Poles of Destiny Hiking.
I conned him into hiking with me because nobody else would.
Oh. Well, we're glad to have you guys. And again, if you are wanting more information on the Alabama Triple Crown, you can always just do a Google search and say Alabama Triple Crown. There's lots of videos out there, but make sure you check out As the Crow Flies Hiking. His channel's got lots of information on there. If you want to learn more and stay connected with events from all the different groups, people that are speaking about what their experiences are and random information, make sure you check out the Facebook page for the Alabama Triple Crown. Jabin Hikes, make sure you check out his channel if you're into the Smokies, AT, all kinds of hikes throughout the Southeast and beyond. He's also did some hikes with Crow out west, but again, a lot of that stuff's on his channel. Terry Young Outdoors, he just got done with the Pinhoti Trail section with Squidly, Goff Farrell. Make sure you check out his channel as well. We'll have some links if you are just now joining for the first time. So thank you so much, guys. Stay on. Just want to give a shout out to everyone that joined us today. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Let's keep moving, everybody.